And all right, welcome to Career Lab Wednesday. I am your host, George Miller. I'm here almost every Wednesday from noon to 12:30 or 12:45 Central Time. And getting started again after being gone for a little bit for the holidays. I welcome everybody back to Career Lab Wednesday. So there's a few ways you can engage here. I love it when you jump in directly on Zoom and ask me questions here. If you are viewing in transport or at work or doing something where you cannot engage that way, that's totally fine. But I want you to know that you can ask a question at any point in time. And your question doesn't have to try to stay on topic. I'm going to be talking about AI and fear and emotional intelligence and how to use tools when things are changing dramatically. That's what I'm talking about, but I appreciate any question career related. So something about your resume, something about interviewing, something about managing, how do you communicate more effectively with your team or with your boss or any question that is career related, please ask it. And you can do that by typing your question into the comment section, or you can jump in directly here on Zoom if you want. But do know this is being live streamed. So it's not anonymous if you jump in and show your face on the camera. So if you want to remain anonymous, make sure to not come on camera. And also know when you're typing your question in, I won't say your name unless you're like, oh, it's fine, George, you can use my name. So again, I'll remind everybody of that. You're welcome to ask questions at any point in time. But I am going to dig into something that is one of my favorite things to talk about. And I run all questions and all things that I'm working with clients on. I use my background in emotional intelligence training, as I find that we are incredibly powerful. We are incredibly wise when we tap into our feelings. There's a lot of data happening inside this system right here all the time. And the more that I can get familiar with that, the better equipped I am to handle what's happening in the world around me. So there's so many topics we could dive into, and I'm going to talk about AI. And AI, it's not just removing jobs, it is activating fear across the workplace. And I want you to recognize what you're feeling about this. So you might not be panicking, but something's off, something's different. Maybe you're still performing, but now you're aware that you're scanning for threats more. You might be thinking, what's my exit strategy here? Maybe you're learning AI tools, but that doesn't actually calm you down. And maybe you're not afraid today, but you're afraid 3 steps from now. And so you might be aware of a general anxiety rising. Or maybe you're like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about, George? A general anxiety. I've got all kinds of concerns. Yeah, the world is in a state of change, and I don't even know what to think about that. I want you to be with anything I just said and see how that lands. If you can identify some type of sensation in your body, maybe not panicking, but something's off. Maybe you're learning new tools, but that's not really calming you down. You're not really concerned right now, but you're looking for an exit plan. Or maybe you're extremely concerned and you're trying to sort things out. So if any of that feels familiar to you, your nervous system is already in the conversation. Whether you've named it or not, your nervous system is already activated and you are processing the changes happening. So people realize they're already in fear, even if they wouldn't call it that. And part of the benefit of naming the feeling, whether I'm saying fear or anxiety, is that actually soothes my system. So your nervous system is already bringing in all this new information and starting to process that. By simply naming that you are feeling more anxious, you're actually soothing yourself some and allowing your nervous system to operate more effectively. Because we've been taught in a variety of ways that fear means that we're behind or unskilled or fragile, or that if I feel afraid, something's wrong with me. That's true on some level for every single client I have ever worked with. And perhaps especially guys. That I'm not supposed to feel afraid. That if I do, that means I'm weak, something's wrong with me. And so even though we've had a zeitgeist of personal growth work and wanting to be more aware and more conscious, this holds true for everybody in our development, that at some level, fear is treated more like a liability. Anxiety is seen as something to not really let on about. That's fine. Because I'm giving you secrets to how every human works, and so that you can apply this for yourself and get more grounded data about who you are in this complex world. So, especially at work, just fear can be treated like a liability. And there's good reason for that. And I'm not going to go into all that right now, but so fear shows up before words, before strategies, before plans do. Fear is the nervous system. It's detecting uncertainty and the stakes involved with that. It's not the problem. It's our uninterpreted fear is the problem. When I'm unconscious of the anxiety that's happening in me already, that's where the problems really start to arise. Oh, and I got a comment about the cold water. Yes, yeah, totally. So I do a consistent practice of going into Lake Michigan in the winter. And an example I repeat again and again is that I'm afraid every time. I was out there this morning. It's scary. There's lots of waves. It was like a blizzard out there. I should be afraid. The fear is not the problem. My interpretation of the fear is what's useful. If I am not in touch with the fear, then I'm really in danger. So that's kind of an extreme example. When we're interacting at work, when I'm assessing all of the different avenues I could take in my career, fear looks different there. But the point is the same. Uninterpreted fear is the problem. So let's look at why AI hits the nervous system first and not the mind. And this is a core thing. This is so cool. Is you really think about it, like emotions happen immediately. It's our response to the world. I don't always have time to think through everything and how I'm going to react. So that kind of logic does not always apply. And my system is incredibly intelligent to be able to take action to keep me safe immediately without me even needing to think about it. So I want to honor the nervous system and the setup in the history to how I have become who I am today. This is true for everybody. So speed, when we're talking about AI, okay? Speed without consent. This is happening, and it's not like we all said, okay, we consent. Nope, it's happening already. The rules are changing mid-game. Our skill sets are aging in real time. And there's no clear authority saying you're safe. There might be authorities pretending to say that, but I don't think, I certainly don't really trust or believe when authorities are saying, okay, you're safe now. So your nervous system doesn't care if AI is good or bad. It cares that the ground rules keep shifting. And that low grade urgency you feel even on calm days. The pressure to stay relevant without knowing what relevant means. And the exhaustion of pretending you're fine with change that you didn't choose. So I want to make a distinction between reactive fear and adaptive fear. And I hope you're getting that the point is that fear and anxiety are a part of life. Pain and suffering is going to happen, but I can choose how much suffering I'm going to experience. And this pivot of reactive fear and adaptive fear, and the fact that I can choose, that changes my relationship with anxiety and with fear and with what's happening around me. So I need to keep up with everything. That's reactive fear. I can't fall behind. Everyone else knows something I don't. Compulsive learning, comparing and proving myself. That's reactive. I've talked a lot about burnout in the past. That leads to burnout. And so adaptive fear, integrated fear, that sounds like what actually matters here. Yeah, I'm using the anxiety to help me identify stuff. It's a different come from. You know, what do I actually want to be known for? What matters to me? Great question is, where do humans still create irreplaceable value? That question for me then brings up all kinds of things like, wow, if AI is changing the world I live in, what is it about being human that is really essential? And from that, then I have a different understanding with AI. It's like, what if this is actually helping me understand myself more and understand the people around me more? Because it really highlights the value of humanity. And I'll say a little more about this. I do get people who would say, George, aren't you afraid that AI is going to replace coaching? And the, the honest answer is yes. So notice that. I could try to jump to saying, oh, no, no, no. But no, I allow myself the fear. I allow myself to touch that anxiety. It's like, whoa, yeah, it's true. Yeah, people are using AI to problem solve on their own. And there's ways that they don't need a coach or a mentor or a consultant like they did before. It's true. And I feel anxiety about that. But now I ask myself that question, what's irreplaceable about being a human? And it highlights what underneath everything is actually why I coach. It doesn't have to do with me having the answer. It has to do with other people finding that for themselves and the fact that human contact human presence, facilitates creativity at a profound level. And so far, in me working with AI and in working with a lot of clients, AI has only highlighted that for me and for the people I'm working with. I'm afraid about it. I totally, it's uncomfortable. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster of like, oh my gosh, what's going to be over that hill? It's going to be on the drop. And so I'm with that fear. But when I really let myself be with the fear, I get more clarity about what's actually happening. And I don't, kind of unconsciously create negative outcomes. So, oh, wow. I'm getting people coming on in. Great. Sorry, everybody. I did not even see this. I'm so honed in on talking about fear and AI. So welcome, welcome. Again, if you want to remain anonymous, make sure to keep your video off. And please ask any questions at any point in time. You are welcome to type into the chat, type into the comment section, and you can ask anything career related. You don't have to try to stay on the topic of AI or emotional intelligence. Just let yourself be in touch with what you're wanting to know and ask any questions that you want. So I'm going to keep going here. Again, you can type into the chat or you can type into the comment section. So again, we're looking at what's effective is adaptive fear. What is not effective is reactive fear, where I am comparing myself, saying I can't fall behind. Everyone else knows something I don't. I need to keep up with everything. Now, I'd be lying if I say that that kind of fear isn't going on inside of me. I definitely have those fears, but I don't necessarily make decisions based on those. I just notice them. I allow those fears and thoughts to happen. So reactive fear chases safety, and adaptive fear creates direction. So people can realize they're exhausted not from AI, but how they're relating to the fear that artificial intelligence is bringing up. So one of the things that a lot of people are learning to do is to slow down before deciding. Make fewer but clearer bets instead of constant upskilling, upskilling. Really hone in on what I'm good at. What makes me uniquely me? Investing in nervous system regulation and not just constant productivity. Because it's like, we got so many tools, can be so much more. We can pump out all kinds of content. We can pump out a whole lot. But what actually helps the nervous system? What actually helps things stick? The developing skills that stabilize humans. Developing skills that stabilize humans and not impress algorithms. So people are becoming more focused on staying relevant. Sorry. People are becoming less focused on staying relevant. Like that's a game that's not working. And more focused on staying grounded. Again, what's uniquely you? What's uniquely human? And I think another way to reframe it is that calmness isn't confidence, it's capacity. When I'm at maxed out in my capacity to handle something, I'm not calm. And me pretending that I'm calm, well, that gets in the way of me expanding my capacity. That's like often in interviews, people want to work on coming across as confident. That often gets in the way of you being effective. As somebody hiring people, I don't care if you're trying to impress me, that shows me that you're insecure. That it's an irrelevant part of the conversation to me. What I want to know is, do you get stuff done? What I want to know is, are you open to areas where you need to improve? Do you have an open mindset? Can you handle things when they shift? I don't need to know about all of your wins in the past. I need to know that you're going to be effective here. And so when someone's trying to act confident, it actually does the opposite for me. It makes them suspect, makes me think they're hiding stuff. Which, in my experience, everybody's hiding something, at least from themselves, and then that plays out to hiding from the world. So people who thrive are not the smartest. They're the ones who can feel fear without collapsing in it. I've referenced Navy SEALs before, and that's a consistent thing. It's like the people who actually get through the training are not the smartest or the strongest. They're the people that can be with anxiety without collapsing into it. It's not shatter their identity. They're able to ask for help. They can pause inside uncertainty without rushing to a false certainty. So you want to develop your capacity to be with anxiety. Anxiety is not the issue. In unstable situations, regulation beats predictions. So that might look like, for a lot of people right now, choosing to hold rather than take risks. And when taking a risk, really assessing that risk. And this is a big one for me. I'm a risk taker. In one part, an unhealthy part of my risk taking is I can get high off of the risk without really implementing learning. Anyway, that's me. And so right now I'm practicing staying more present with anxiety and really assessing what are the micro risks I want to take. Because I don't have as much, there's not as much of a grace period for me, and I suspect for a lot of people right now. So right now you're already responding to artificial intelligence. Your system is already responding. You might not be doing it with strategy, but your nervous system is. So if you can treat fear as something to outrun, or you can treat fear as information about what matters most. So again, you're already responding to artificial intelligence. Perhaps not with strategy, but with your nervous system. So then the question is, are you going to treat it like something you can outrun, or are you treating it as information about what matters most? Oh, I am checking to see if I've got any questions coming in here. So fear is not asking you to panic. It's asking you to listen more. As the world rapidly changes, you're being asked to listen. So for anybody listening in, again, I invite any questions, but maybe you just want to be with what we're talking about. So type yes if this is familiar to you. No explanation needed. Is this resonating with you? If you've been learning more and feeling more anxiety, feeling less calm, but you've been applying yourself, you've been learning a lot, just give a thumbs up, just a recognition. Hey, Mushka. So this is one of my favorite things to be with because I like more and more I like fear and anxiety. It's the doorway to aliveness and connection in life. And when I change my understanding of my core feelings, the whole world opens up to me in new ways. So I want to invite, again, anybody to ask any question at any point in time. You don't have to try to stay on topic. Just let me know if you've got any questions. It looks like people are resonating. You're relating to this. Cool. I'm getting a response. Yeah, we must strengthen our nervous system to experience multitudes of fear, become stronger to take on greater challenges. Yeah. Yeah. I like that framing. It's like I didn't come to planet Earth to sit in a garden the entire time and have a quote unquote nice time. I came for an adventure. Well, learning to sit in a garden and enjoying to smell the roses is certainly a good thing, and certainly something I'm continuing to work on developing more of an ability to take in delight and positive and beautiful things. Absolutely. I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm saying it's more than that. One of my mentors, I so appreciate him, is, you know, he could retire. He's got plenty of money to do that. He could sit on a beach somewhere for the rest of his life and enjoy the sensations of that totally. But he's like, no way. I'm having too much fun. I'm having so much fun influencing the world in positive ways that I'm not stopping. He's like, I get hurt so much. I'm doing these things and people misunderstand and I get attacked and it's really upsetting. But I choose this over retirement, over dipping out. It's just way more fun. Oh, cool. Let me see this. So what is your point about changing our infrastructure in technology because new students are confused, like what should we choose nowadays? Oh my goodness, that's a great question. So I might need a little more direction from you on that question. I'm going to start responding as best as I can, but please type into the comments or chat and let me know if I'm on point with you. So the question again is, what is your point of you about changing our infrastructure and technology because new students are confused, like what we should choose nowadays? Well, I think at the core, it stays the same, which is what helps you become more you. What are the innate skills that you have? What are the things that you like doing that you want to develop? Because if I'm operating off of trying to catch the latest certification or technology or whatever, that's going to change. There's not job security like there used to be. And there may never be job security like there was in the past. That may be a thing that, me and people a little older than me and younger than me, that just may not be it. So it's what can you do? In some ways, it's like maybe this is forcing everybody to have more of an entrepreneurial mindset. So what is it about you? Now, I will say some things about industry. And this, if you want to go check out some geopolitical futurists, I recommend doing that and seeing what they're saying that might provide some future planning. One of the guys I check in with regularly is 𝗂𝗪𝗳𝗃. One of the things he says is when people ask that question, what industry should I get into? He says, become an electrician, a plumber, or a welder, and learn Spanish. It's like, what? Because we had so much time in management training and all of that kind of thing. But he says that because he's predicting that industry will come back to the United States more, and that even though it sure looks like we are doing things to take people who speak Spanish out of this country, that in the long run, that's not going to happen really, because we are going to become more, we are leaning into the Western hemisphere more and more. We are developing more and more relationships. We are moving away from industry in China, this kind of thing. And so learning Spanish is going to be helpful. So electrician, welding, plumbing, Spanish. And with that, then I would say, okay, so what if you were going to take that kind of a template and say, okay, I'm going to go into more of the trades, then what in the trades really excites you? What are you good at? What are the skills that you want to develop? Are you going to be somebody who wants to really look at numbers and planning and making sure that a business is being successful financially? Because you could apply that to any industry. Or are you somebody who wants to develop relationships? You want to get out and talk with people. Everybody's going to need sales. If you're already in tech, okay, well then what things in tech are going to be really needed? Cybersecurity, it's like we keep using these tools And cybersecurity, people trying to abuse stuff and take advantage of, I don't see that ever changing. So, okay, cool. I'm getting a response. Yes, exactly. Job security is the main issue nowadays. Yeah. So with that, that's the issue. So you have to become incredibly hireable. I don't even know if that's a word. And I've had a lot of clients who have now become consultants, who have worked in marketing, in fundraising, in welding, in manufacturing. I've a lot of clients who are in that space who were laid off, and the next step they took was then to consult businesses on what's effective. Because a lot of companies don't want to hire. It's not worth it to them to bring in, train somebody, etc. It ends up costing them money because they might need to pivot so quickly. It's like, oh, well, we hired you. Well, now we don't need you. And so again, you looking, this may be forcing everyone to see themselves as more of an entrepreneur. The job landscape is changing so dramatically. And so your investment in yourself, what you're good at, what you like doing, what's uniquely you, and how do you help people? That's, that's something you can always invest in. Got it. Yeah. There's desire to align with a mentor who understands your needs and knows how to remove the barriers and encourage professional development. Yeah. Getting a mentor, getting a coach, that is hugely valuable. I love that Tony Robbins is telling everybody to get a coach. I've had a lot of clients start with me that way. They say, well, I follow Tony Robbins and I've gone to some of his events, and he says, get a coach. And in organizations, there's a lot of coaching happening in organizations because they realize that it's effective. And and learning how to use a coach, learning how to use a mentor is a skill. And again, see, this is what's this skill of what is important to me. What do I want to develop? Who do I want to become? Paying attention to that in a mentorship relationship, I come in with, this is what I want to have happen. I've got these three things I could lean into. Here's what I like about these two. I don't like this one so much, although this one would maybe provide more security, etc. Here's what I think I'm going to do, but I really wanted your insight on it. So there's a way that you can be doing work when you're in a mentorship relationship. You just think of it like you're preparing for the meeting. You're preparing for the interaction. Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up around the questions of with job security as being a main issue these days, that it's investing in yourself. That may be that you make yourself even more hireable. It may mean that you come up with creative ways to be of service to people. It may mean that you're not getting hired. You may need to be a contractor. Whatever it is. So I'm going to wrap up here, but if anybody has any questions, please type them into the comments section before I sign off. You can also set up a one-to-one with me. I'm happy to connect with you, when it's not live streaming, for 15, 20 minutes. See if I can help you get some clarity about things. Happy to do that with you. And sometimes it turns into a larger project, and I'm happy to discuss what a coaching relationship might look like for you. Additionally, I should say that I facilitate several different groups. Last autumn, I realized I was facilitating 7 different coaching groups. Right now, I'm at 6. I want to get another one going soon. So that's a way to engage as well. I do one-on-one coaching along with group facilitation, brings the cost down some. And also you get the benefit of vicarious learning, of watching other people get coaching. And that often helps, because our systems do not want to change too quickly. I talk about the zone of what is it? The zone of proximal development. Wow, I just had a brain fart on that. Anyway, your growth edge. What's just outside the comfort zone, but isn't so uncomfortable that your whole nervous system shuts down. One of the cool things about group coaching is that another person can be doing work, getting coached in a way that's like, oh, maybe I wouldn't be that open, or I wouldn't take those kinds of risks, but wow, I can see that happening, and I can learn that way from it, and I can start to see myself taking risks that I wouldn't have taken before. So anyway, let me check. Oh, I got another question coming in. In tech and probably other industries, there is going to be a need for grounded minds to provide guardrails in an AI age. Governance, quality gates, etc. It's becoming every bit as important as job security. Huh. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That, one of my clients, what she realized with AI was people don't know what questions to ask. So, so she's actually been helping people. That her job has shifted in that she's now training people in how to ask questions so that they're getting responses that can be used. So absolutely, I like that. Governance, quality gates. Yeah. So look for what's needed, look at what your skills are and how you can serve people with what your innate skills are. I've been following this one for years. It was 13 years ago now. Several people were like, George, you're one of the warmest, most open people I've ever met. I feel like I can tell you anything, and like you're going to be cool with me. I was like, well, it's true. So that is a core thing about me and coaching. And I continue to use that. I continue to develop my ability to be with people with whatever it is that they're working on, whatever the pain is or whatever the joy is. I've had clients say like, oh my gosh, like just the fact that like you were so happy for me when I had this one thing, like my system didn't know to be that happy. And now it's like, wow, I'm allowing myself more excitement. And as I do that, then it's like, wow, more people are responding to me the way you responded to me. This is cool. So again, what are the things that are uniquely you, uniquely human? What are things that artificial intelligence will never replace? And how does that help you help other people? What are the things that are uniquely you that serve other people? And that one in tech, probably other industries, there's this need for grounded minds to provide guardrails, governance, quality gates, etc. Yeah, it's like there could be so many ideas. It's like, oh wow, we could generate this, this, and this, and it's like, well, does it make a difference? So, all right, everybody, I got to sign off. Blessings. Thank you for joining in today. Wishing you much adventure, much excitement, much sensation, and an embracing of yourself in times of great change, an embracing of the anxiety so that you are not reactive to concerns, that you are assessing, that you're using your fear as a guidance system as opposed to something to get over. All right, thank you so much for joining in, everybody. I will be back next week. Again, set up a time with me. You bet. Thank you. Set up a time with me if you'd like. And follow me on social media if you want more content stuff where I talk about emotional intelligence. That would be on YouTube, but I have a lot of fun stuff on TikTok and Instagram as well, and it's all geared with this changing the relationship of avoiding fear to using it as data and a doorway to aliveness and connection. So you can, if you're viewing my content, understand that's the foundation. That's anything that I'm putting out there. That's what I'm wanting you to get is how is this changing? I've had people say, oh, George, I enjoy seeing you out in the ice water. It changes how I'm looking at my day. Because I see things that were challenging. I have a meeting coming up and I'm like, oh, I'm dreading that meeting. And then I'm like, wow, but how am I going to engage in that meeting? How's that going to be an adventure? And so that's what I want for everybody. All right. Take care, everybody. Blessings.